So this is the second set of lecture notes, and it will mainly focus on fiber reinforced plastics, where we talk about FRP in the previous systems, and sandwich constructions. So in this lesson 4, we will talk about the closed and open molding composite manufacturing process. Before I repeat again, we are talking about composites manufacturing process. Alright, we're talking about the keyword of manufacturing. And this manufacturing process, there is two types, the open and closed molding. And in this video, I think that I'll just touch on the open molding system, and the next video we'll talk about the closed molding. Alright, and therefore the open molding itself, the gel coat and laminate are exposed to the atmosphere during the fabrication process. So what does this mean? So you have a certain mold over here, alright, and you just apply your gel coat and your laminate. Alright, so you put on your laminate, you gel coat, you put a layer of gel coat, and then another laminate, so that this layer of laminate will stick to the other layer of laminate. Alright, so you laid it up all together, alright, and let it cure in the air, in the open air. There's no cover, you see, so this open air, and this is why it's called the open molding. Alright, and is exposed to the atmosphere. So you have to say these keywords. Alright, as for closed molding, straight away you know that there will be a cover. Alright, so one way is that you feed. Alright, so there will be a hole over here. So you feed the resin in. Alright, you fill it up. Alright, and after that you let it cure under a certain heat or certain pressure. Later on we'll talk about it. Alright, so this is just a few general methods, and in fact there is only two systems right here, the closed and open molding. Alright, so there is three types of the open molding over here. The first one is the hand layout. Alright, so hand layout can be called the contact molding. Alright, they are the same name. So I repeat again, the hand layout and contact molding are the same thing. Alright, and therefore what are they? Therefore let's watch with a faster speed and see how it works.
Wet layup is the most common manual method of making fiber-reinforced plastic matrix composites, with thermosetting resin far more widely used than thermoplastic resins. Before layup, a mold release or parting agent is applied to the mold to ease removal of the composite part afterwards. Common release agents include silicone, polyvinyl alcohol, fluorocarbons, and water-based solvents.
So what they are doing right now is that to apply these materials so that when you remove the parts, it is easier to remove. That's what it's trying to say.
A layer of catalyzed resin is often applied to the release coat mold and allowed to cure to the gel or tacky state before the reinforcement is applied. This so-called gel coat is a protective surface layer through which reinforcement fibers do not penetrate. Special gel coat resins can improve flexibility, blister and stain resistance, toughness, and weatherability.
So these are the gel coat application. So you are mixing gel coat and other fibers material. So remember, the gel coat itself is some matrices which we say earlier. So gel coat is just some gel. So you just apply, and these are the purposes that you could take down. Alright.
As the gel coat cures, the reinforcement material, typically in the form of cloth or mat, is prepared for application by impregnation with liquid resin.
So the cloth or mat, alright, M-A-T, alright, is a chopped string mat, if you still remember. Alright, so this is trying to say in terms of that. So it's in terms of this form, if you just take a look. Alright, so it's in terms of the mat, alright, as it says. So therefore let's continue.
It is referred to as pre-wetting. The pre-wetted reinforcement material is then carefully placed on the coated mold surface to minimize distortion during transfer. More reinforcement material and resin are applied as needed in this manner until required part thickness has been built up. Typically, the pre-wetted material is hand-rolled to achieve uniform distribution and to remove entrapped air.
And therefore this is it, because as you can see, they are layer by layer layout. So each layer you are just applying it. So this implies that it is a hand layout system. Alright, and then over here, these are the descriptions that I took up from this video that I think is pretty important. So the first part is that you layer a silicone or some other materials to ensure easy removal of the parts. Then you put a layer of gel coat so that you can protect the layer and also to stick the fibers onto it. Alright, so after that, then you stick the fiber. So you put the gel coat already, you put the fiber, and then you put a layer of water. I don't know whether it's water or what. Some gel coat again, I think, to actually put the fiber, alright, stick the fiber onto the coat. Alright, so such that you can actually lay it up. So over here, the fibers can be a cloth or mat. Alright, and you just layer it layer by layer, so you put it on top so that it can be whatever shape that you want. Then lastly, you will hand roll them, alright, to achieve uniform distribution to prevent air gap. Alright, so this one over here is some process in doing the hand layup, if you want to remember that. Alright, over here you can read it up yourself, but I just want to explain this picture. You need to draw this picture in the exam if happen that they ask you to explain hand layup. So over here, this is the mold, alright, as it says. Alright, this whole piece, alright, this whole piece is the mold. Then on top of this mold, you apply a mold release, which is the silicone or the other materials. And these are the 4 things that you could apply. Alright, so therefore in your release mold release agent, or you can put silicone, alright, or some other stuff that I showed you just now. Alright, the purpose is to allow easy removal of the part. Alright, then after which then you lay out a gel coat. Alright, because if you were to take it out the whole piece, alright, the gel coat will be the outer layer of the part. Alright, and therefore this gel coat is a protective system to protect your inner fibers. And I assume that all this stuff over here, because I can't read it because it's being cut, but anyway, it should be your reinforcing fibers in terms of cloth or fibers. Alright, then after that, once you lay out each layer by layer, alright, to acquire a certain thickness of your material, alright, then you add in your resin and additives. Alright, I believe you add in that first. Alright, so once you add in your resin and additives, I will believe is to protect is to create an outer layer to protect the fibers also. Alright, once you lay out all of them already, then you use a hand roll. A hand rolling will remove all the air gaps, because air gap itself will cause discontinuity or inconsistency in your material. So therefore you have to remove the air gap so that the material could be stronger and things like that. Alright, so therefore these are the things to look for your hand layout, alright, or contact molding. Over here is the issues or problems with hand layout. Alright, so I don't think I will read it out for you. Alright, but the key word I would say is that this sentence I would say is that when the quantity of molding is large, alright, when you're talking about when you're molding a very big piece of material, alright, when you're molding a very big piece of material, you have a lot of resin and reinforced materials to put inside. You stack up, right? But at your point, remember you have to use a roller, alright, and cure it. So therefore, when you're talking about roller, if your person over here is just this particular size and your roller is just like that, how many times do you have to roll? You roll until tomorrow also cannot finish, right? So therefore, what you can suggest is that you can actually spray it on the surface. Alright, so therefore the certain, and as such, the spraying part instead of the roller part is somewhat taking into consideration we are dealing with large parts. So therefore, I repeat again, for large materials, alright, or large quantity of molding, one method is to use spraying instead of rolling. Okay, and another thing is that for curing, because of a large part, alright, you're gonna wait for it to cure each layer by layer. Cure meaning that you wait for it to actually dry it out, alright, where they stick together and then they will dry because of some of the gel coat. Alright, your gel coat is to stick your fibers together. Alright, so therefore the issues with this hand layout now, as you can see, is that for large material it will be a very more tedious process, alright, therefore it's very highly labor intensive. So as it says, alright, do take note that the hand layout can be also in other different categories like these things altogether. Alright, you won't self read yourself. Alright, but do take note that the hand layout molding isn't just this type, it can be many types. Alright, so you have to take note of that. I think I took quite a lot of time, and therefore I'll just end this video for hand layout. Alright, so in the next video we will talk about this too, hopefully in that video. See you there.